Good morning from Bangladesh. Good morning to everybody who are out there and listening to me. I'm not coming online live for certainly a while, like for more than 2 months. I think time demands to me to come online live to talk about some very important thing. I think I need to talk about these things as my conscience makes me do this thing. The issue is, which is a pressing issue of time now at present around the globe, is Palestinian issue, where both the parties are claiming that atrocities have been inflicted upon them, be it Israel, be it Palestine. Both the parties are claiming that they have been inflicted brutal torture and they are not okay. So let's look at some facts from historical point of view, and certainly I'm not a historian but a project management professional with academic background in English literature, but experience ranging from teaching to translation to project management to marketing for a school hostel. And I think from my side, I'm not sure, I cannot confirm that either Palestine is right or Israel is right, because I'm not in a position of defining who is right and who is wrong. But we can talk about it as collectively we all are part of this humanity. Who he is not the fact. We all are human beings and we belong to one human race. First of all, I would encounter one question. Are we one? Means Muslims and Jewish people, are we one people? Straightly, to answer to this question, my answer is very straight. We are one human being. Number 1 point. Number 2, we have another connection, and that is we all are the sons and daughters of Abraham. So in terms of that dynastic relation, we are also the same people. Number 3, we are living in an age of pressing needs of climate change, risk management, of managing the financial economical pressure that has been inflicted by the moral atrocity inflicted upon Ukrainian people by Russian oligarchs, Russian Hitlers. Then we all are the same victim of global terrorism. We are victims of Islamic extremism. We all, from Ohio to Nova Scotia, from Finland to Chile. Every year, we are the victims of global Islamic terrorism. So in this situation, we must easily agree that we are one human race who has similarities, connections, dissimilarities, disconnections, who has same sufferings, who has same problems, who has to answer same urgent calls of catastrophic disaster by climate change, by global terrorism, by global financial disorders, by state-run atrocities of Russia. In such a moment, now we are fighting in between us, and we are imposing the atrocious acts of violence on each other. Between the borders, now we don't have only the concrete walls of despair. Now we not only have the isle of distraction and division, but also now we have torture, hostages, treachery, violence, violation of international treaties and accords, land grabbing, bombardment, missiling, and trying to kill and butcher human being as much as possible as we can. So, what is our history? If I say the history of Palestine is a history of kingly charioting of kingsmen. The history of Palestine is the history of prophets, the history of revelations, the history of prophetic marches on holy days, Holy. The history of Palestine is the history of majestic ruling of King David. But at the same time, the history of Palestine is a history of brutality inflicted upon Palestinian people by some kings. So, history of Palestine is all about the history of an independent state and nation. Now, when we talk about a Palestinian history, we must reconsider that we have to be careful, we have to be mindful, and we have to look at the things the way it is. And the thing is, Palestine is an independent state. But we have to agree that every nation, every state has its own way of history making, nation building. And that's why throughout the passage of history, many things could happen. And it must happen. If it doesn't happen, a nation cannot be a nation, a state cannot go forward. Hence, there is the history of, or the story of, the arrival of Jewish people from Egypt. If we talk about the Jewish history, we must talk about the birth of Moses. The Israelites people were living in the capital city of Egypt, the outskirts of the urban. And eventually the king Pharaoh had dreamed that a young boy from an Israeli community will destroy his kingdom. Now he is ordered to slaughter every single newborn babies upcoming from that day to be killed. And eventually he has formed and deployed armies to check household by household, check woman by woman, and make sure that all the boys newborn are killed. Eventually Moses got birth, and his mother anyhow managed to throw him in the waters of Nile in a basket. The king, Pharaoh's wife, was taking a bath or a seaside rest or riverside rest by the bank of the river Nile, and she found the box, and she found the boy. She's the one who raised the boy in her castle. And the boy is growing up, seeing the day-to-day life of the Pharaoh and the Egypt. Eventually he got revelation, and he has been promised a land for Israeli people. Now he has led his qawm or his nation to Israel, and that's why Israeli people, they accept it, they believe, they trust that Israel is the land that has been committed to them, promised to them by God. So they started living there, but it's true that many atrocities has been inflicted upon them by Muslim kings and rulers throughout the history for last hundreds of years. They have been tortured by many kings and queens. Now, let's start with the most recent atrocities inflicted upon the Israelites, the Jewish people. Hitler came to power in 1930s in Germany, and he has ordered mass slaughter, destruction and death for the Jewish people. And Jewish people were running for safe passage everywhere in the world, in every possible direction, to find refuge. And we cannot deny the fact that they have experienced gas chamber, forced labor, forced death, death in family, slaughter, mass killing, mass shooting, mass rape, ethnic cleansing, cleansing of their history, identity. Almost all possible way they have been tortured by Nazi Germany. And 6 million Jewish people have been killed brutally, which is catastrophic in a sense, and they survived it. But at what cost? At the cost of their lives, their liberty, their properties, their lands, their sons and daughters, their happiness, everything of them have been taken. Eventually, the world leaders has come to agree to establish a piece of land for them, a country for them. Eventually, in 1948, we got the Balfour Declaration, which has allowed the Israelites people, the Jewish people, for a piece of land in Israel or in the then Palestine. My question, is it a crime by Israel? No, it's not a crime. But it was a political decision which is agreed by all the parties relevant to the pact. But Arabs never ever accepted the existence of Jewish people, and they inflicted two Arab-Israel wars on them, which is an important trajectory to keep it in mind, that you imposed war upon me 2 times. Now, how should I accept you as my friend? There is no reason, there is no rationality, there is no provocation, but only one thing: as you don't like Jewish people, so you want to eliminate them. I think then only one reason is here: you don't like me, so you want to kill me. Now you are expecting that I'll stretch the hands of friendship to you. I think that is the wrong thinking. That needs to be corrected. So, why I emphasize on Arab-Israel wars? Because those two wars had created a different trajectory in the pathway of the mutual relationship of Israel and Arab states. So when we talk about Palestine Israel conflict or issue, we must not forget the happening of two Arab-Israel war and the mindset of sweeping Israeli existence from the lands of Israel. It is an important point. Now the point is, why should we count Israel? The answer is very simple. You cannot simply think that Israel will not exist, where it's true and strongly firm that Israel will exist strongly. Israel is existing strongly. Why? Number one, Israel is a democratic state. I am not supporting Israel. I am not against Israel. I am analyzing the facts. Israel is a democracy where political parties contest in nationwide, fair and internationally accepted general elections, where political parties debate, where political parties contested, where political parties lead the country, where MPs can debate in the Knesset, where laws are made by the elected members of parliaments, not by sultans and kings and emirs. This is a very strong point that needs to be confirmed and accepted by all of us who hates Israel. Israel should be counted. Point number two is Israel is a hub of the knowledge of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. They are producing the best scientists, the best technologists, the best engineers, the best mathematicians for the world. They are the most educated nation in the entire world. That's why they should be counted. They are not a flock of illiterate, rat-skinned people. They are highly educated, informed, equipped people. why Israel should be counted. Israel allows people to talk where human rights are protected, women's rights are protected, children's rights are protected, rights of persons with disabilities are protected, labor rights are protected, rights of gender diverse people are protected. When you are protecting the rights of your people will not let you down. Now, what about Arabs? What about Arabs? Number one, this is 2023, 18th of October of 2023, Christian era. There is no single Arab state where fair elections happened or even democracy exists. When there is no democracy, there is no true empowerment. There is no true participation of people. There is no real game of debate. So, today's Arab voices are not the voices of Arabs. The voices we heard, the voices we are hearing, the voices we will hear are the voices of kings, the voices of emirs, the voices of religious leaders, the voices of khalifas, the voices of sultans, the voices of princesses, the voices of what I say? Sultans, but not the voices of people. Because Arab states are not ruled by people, they are ruled by families. This is number one weakness of Arabs. Number two, in terms of science, technology, engineering and mathematics, till the date, Arabs are simply sitting and consuming the money they earn from the selling of oil. Till the date they think there will be someone else who will save them, where you need education, you need science, you need technology, you need engineering, and you need mathematicians to contribute to your country. Number three, Arabs don't allow to talk and practice human rights, to protect and promote human rights. They denied human rights again and again and again and again, and they will do it as long as they can. Women's rights, they have failed significantly morally to protect women's rights and promote women's rights, because they think women should be the slaves of them forever. They enslave children. They have failed significantly to promote and protect the rights of children, the rights of persons with disabilities, the rights of gender diverse people's groups, the rights of the people from other religions. They have failed, they are failing, they will fail because they don't intend to protect and promote human rights, women's rights, rights of children, rights of gender diverse people, rights of the people of other religion and other beliefs and trusts and political convictions. This is a big weakness that is making them failed and fragile. And they will be failed and fragile forever when there is a question of conquest over Israel. I'm not supporting a war, I'm not proposing for another war between Israel and Arab, but when it comes to the point of talking about the qualifications of the nations of Jewish people and Arabs, we must agree that there is a significant difference between two nations where we cannot claim that Arabs are the good human being. I must not say that Israelis are the good human being, or I am not saying that Israelis are the bad human being, but I must say that Arabs are not good human being. But Israelis doing their best to protect the political rights, the rights of women, folks, the children, the rights of the gender diverse people and other groups of people in their lands who are living there. Even the Palestinian Arabs who are living in the territories of Israel, they can vote. They have Palestinian MPs in the Knesset. That is the superiority deserved by Israel. So Arabs should reconsider them. Now let's come to the point of statehood of Palestine. When I talk about the statehood of Palestine, I really feel bad for these people. Because the Palestinian leadership has failed to understand what a nation is. I'll talk about it later, but let me talk about statehood first. To my understanding, Palestinian leadership has failed to even conceive the idea of statehood, what a state look like. Palestinian leadership has failed to establish even a state for them. As a part of Palestine is governed and ruled by Fatah movement, another part of Palestine is ruled and governed by Hamas movement. So, Palestinians have failed to confirm a one state by themselves. This is a big failure of them. Hamas and the thing is very simple. I have one country, half of the country is ruled by X, Mr. X, half of the country is ruled by Mr. Y. So it is a one country at all? No, not at all. So Palestinian leadership has failed to conceive the idea of statehood, but they perceive the idea of statehood. And perception is not conception. So I would call them again to ensure that the minimum understand the statehood of Palestine, the Palestinian statehood. Do they trust in one Palestine? Do they really think that two pieces of lands governed by two pieces of governments, two group of people, two leaders is one state? They must be clear of them. My next point is, do the Palestinian people really understand what a nationhood is? When they talk about Arab nationalism is based on Arabic language. So they are Arabs. They think that they are part of Muslim Ummah and they are fighting for Bait al-Maqdas. Now my question, people who doesn't speak in Arabic, living in Palestinian territory, what about their nationhood? What is their nationality? Who are they? So Palestinian people has failed to understand nationhood. Let me give an example. In India, there are 3,000 languages people speak. But one nation, they trust that whatever your language is, your nationhood is Indian. So the Indian nationhood is not on the basis of religion and language, where Palestinian people conceived wrongly, permanently and firmly, absolutely, that if you are a Palestinian, you must be Muslim, you must be Arab speaking, and you must fight for the occupation or ownership of Bait al-Maqdas or Masjid al-Aqsa. When your nationhood is centered with the holy site of a specific religion, can you really claim that you are inclusive enough to hold the other nations and their identity and their existence within the boundary of your idea of nationhood? Can you really think it practical and acceptable and inclusive? I don't think this is a fake thing. So it's high time for the people of Palestine to idealize the concept of nationhood. What is their nationhood? Are they Arab? Do they believe in the nationhood of Arabic nationhood on the basis of Arabic language? Do they consider themselves as Islamic or Muslim nationhood on the basis of centering the belief of ownership and occupation of Bait al-Maqdas or Masjid al-Aqsa? If they think that they are correct in terms of these two beliefs, then they are wrong, and they were wrong for last decades. So they are suffering. If you don't accept me, how can I accept you? If you exclude me from the identity of my nationhood, how could I feel included? So Palestinian people and at large has to come to a common understanding in terms of the nationhood. That's why these two things are very important, as the leadership of Palestine has failed to conceive the idea of statehood, and the people of Palestine has failed to understand the nationhood. Now, how can an independent Palestine state be built on the basis of nationhood, where people has no idea of nationhood and the leadership has no idea of statehood? My next point is, if I am factual, I must say that, frankly, Palestine is not a democracy. Where there is no elections, inclusive elections, participatory elections. And it's making them failed because the leadership cannot take decision as they are not representing the people. Hamas is taking their own decision, Fatah movement is taking their own decision. So my question, who is really representing the Palestinian people? To whom should we listen to, as there is no representing body who are represented by the people through participatory democratic election, fair democratic election. So it's a big concern where the representation is not valid, it's not democratic, it's not participatory. How could we trust that the present leadership, the present representation is talking about something, and how could we trust that they are representing the Palestinian people, they are talking the voices of the Palestinian people? Should we hear them really do? Should we trust them that they are the real voices of the Palestinian, the mass population who are suffering the death, who are suffering the refugee situation, who are suffering the influx, who are suffering the shortage and cutting off electricity, power, water, and everything? Whom should we listen to? Can we really trust them? This is a big concern from my side. And for me, I must agree that the Palestinian representation and the Palestinian leadership is not democratic. They are not the voices of real Palestinian people. They are not legal. They are illegally representing. They have occupied the chair of representation without the legal consent of the Palestinian people. No, what about Hamas? Simply, frankly, in a word, terrorists. They are terrorists. In whatever situation, a terrorist is a terrorist, is a terrorist. We must not support a terror organization. Number one, they are not elected by the government, by the Palestinian people. Number two, their mandate is destruction. They are not legitimized by international community. Every time they take the path of atrocity, they take the path of hostaging, they take the path of mass killing, they take the path of terrorizing people. And terrorizing people is not a solution. If you want to build a nation, you have to understand your people. You must represent your people through participatory election. If you are inflicting terrorism, if you are inflicting mass killing and destruction, you are not the party of a solution. You are the actor of violence and horror and terror. So to me, Hamas is a terrorist organization. They must be annihilated. They must be eliminated. They must be destroyed. They must be unmanned and unnamed from the soil of the world. This is our collective responsibility. We must support rights and protection of Palestinian people. We must support rights and protection of Israeli people, because they all are human beings. They all are the same. Solution is not destruction. Solution is dialogue. Solution is peace. Solution is ceasefire. And we must not support Hamas. This is a terrorist organization, and a terrorist organization must not be supported, must not be sanctified, must not be rectified, must not be represented. and for me. The future of Palestine is Palestinian people should understand the nationhood. The leadership must be represented. The leadership must understand statehood. Palestinian people must accept that science, technology, engineering, mathematics, education, literacy, women empowerment, protection of children, protection of persons with disabilities, and empowerment of people, participation of people, general elections should happen. Democracy must be established. And future of Palestine is in the hands of Palestinian people. So Palestinian people should understand what they want. They have to choose the path of peace, prosperity, empowerment of people, participation of people, emancipation of people. If they don't accept that democracy is the way, they are not really expecting the good for them. They are not rewriting the faded fate of their own nation. They have to succumb the fountain pen of their fate in the inks of democracy, dialogue, discussion, election, participation, education, empowerment, inclusion, and togetherness with other people. They have to rewrite the future of their own nation with a mindset of peace and prosperity. Now, let's come to the point of refugee solution. It's really ridiculous to think that not a single Palestinian refugees have been accepted by the Arab people. Naturalization. If Arab states keep naturalizing 1,000 Palestinians each country, there must have no refugees living in the horrible refugee camps in Jordan. Did they do it? No. No. They did have crocodiles cry for last 8 decades, but they didn't give refuge or they didn't naturalize Palestinian refugees from the camps of Jordan. Still now they are living the horrific camp setting in Jordan. That's why I must say that the Arab leaders are fake. Their expressions are fake. Their feeling for the emancipation, true empowerment of the Palestinian people is fake. So I am proposing the naturalization of Palestinian refugees in Arab countries. They can do it. If they really, really love Palestinian people, they can do it. But they are fake, they will not do it. They didn't do it. So Palestinian people should not accept that the solution to their problem is not the problem of us. They have to seek their own solution the way collective humanity wants it. Palestinians should not expect and accept and should not think that their problem will be solved by Arab countries or Muslim countries or other countries. They must find out a solution. They must go back to the table of discussion. They must think about their own nationhood. They must rely on their capacity. Now, this is their time to revalue what capacities do they have and how can they achieve the nationhood of their own Palestine. A Palestinian solution can be a final solution for a Palestine. Thank you very much. Let us all pray for the people of Palestine and for the people of Israel. Let us pray that Israel should be rich and peaceful. Let us pray that Palestine should be rich and peaceful. Let us pray for both the countries, for their peace and prosperity and progress. Let us not hate. Hatred is not a solution. They all are our brothers and sisters. Let there be light. Let there be peace. Let there be a solution. No more hatred. No more division. No more war. No more hostages.